After much fanfare at SEMA, the new Hellephant engine has been finally announced. The 426 Hellephant crate engine is now 1,000 horsepower, 950 pound-feet of torque. So basically what they've shown, and I'm looking at all par right now, basically what they've shown us is that this new Hemi Generation 3 architecture, they've made an aluminum block engine, and hopefully they've been able to save some weight, so this way, you can get off that line a little bit quicker. But what they've basically shown us here, and I'll let the other YouTubers talk about all of the little fine details and everything, but I just like going straight to the bottom point, like the main idea. The simple fact is this is a crate engine, and it's designed so that if you have a project car, you can just pluck this engine out of the crate that it comes in, just like they gave us the Hell crate with the Hellcat engine. And you could put that basically into any Mopar car that you had that you could fit it into. Well, this comes fully assembled. It comes with the PCM. It comes with the gas pedal. It comes with the engine computer, obviously. And it comes with a brand new IHI supercharger, which is 3 liters instead of the Demon's 2.7 liters and instead of the Hellcat's 2.4 liters. So what they've done is they've redesigned this engine, they've worked on the points to make it stronger, and then what they did was they took a bigger supercharger, giving you way more airflow, give you 1,000 horsepower, 900 pound-feet of torque. And so far, it looks really great and everything, but see, here's my problem. I'm really not into crate engines, and I'm really not into project cars, and there's a very simple reason. When Mopar went to the drawing board and they built the Demon was basically a $30,000 Dodge Challenger, which they stripped everything out of, and they put a new suspension in it, or what they did was they tuned everything. They tuned the suspension, they tuned the engine, they tested it for safety and whatnot. And what they did was they put together the package for you, and then they sold you a finished product, which had been tested, it had been approved. So much the same thing for the Hellcat, and obviously for the 6.4 liter Apache engine cars, such as the Challenger, the Hellcat, and 300 at the time. So now what they're doing is they're saying, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to have the same engine. We're going to change some of the parts on it. We're going to make some of the parts better. We're going to give you 1,000 horsepower, 950 pound-feet of torque. But see, my problem is what they announced and what they showed was a retro car that had this engine installed into it, just to show people, like, on these garage channels that you watch on, the Speed Network, just to show you what's possible. And yeah, while it would be really nice to build one of these things, I really wouldn't want to do that, considering this is 2018, and the safety standards have changed so much. I wouldn't want to be out on the road in a project car. I would rather have a car that's fully tested. I would rather have a car that's fully tuned, that's fully balanced, so that this way I don't have to, guess about what kind of parts I need to put in this. Because the thing about it is, if you're dealing with 1,000 horsepower, let's just think about the Hellcat. With the Hellcat, they had to give you 15 and a half inch front rotors. They had to give you larger 6-piston, and then they offer 8-piston calipers for these SRT cars. And they offer you all these advanced parts and everything, but the thing about it is, when you buy one of these cars, it's fully tested, it's fully approved, it's safe. You don't have to worry about any of the minute details and everything. You don't have to worry about your electronic stability control. Of course, when somebody's building one of these crate engines, they're basically just going to do some drag racing. Either that, or they're just going to build a car and they're just going to drive around themselves and everything. But me personally, I would rather wait until we see exactly what the company itself offers this engine in. But that brings me to the point that annoys me the most. It's the fact that Chrysler has basically given up on the Dodge Magnum, which, if it existed right now, the Dodge Magnum would be selling. And the reason why is because when the Dodge Magnum, when they canceled it, they only canceled it as one of the restructuring elements when they went bankrupt before they were purchased by Fiat. But the thing about it is, if they were building that right now, people wouldn't see that as a wagon. They would see it as an SRT car with whatever engine you had in it. And they should have offered that car, but the problem was they were short-sighted. Because you got to remember, when they had the Magnum available, one thing you got to remember is the SUV market hadn't fully taken off yet. People were choosing SUVs because they needed more space. But back then, the crossover SRV, the SUV craze, it hadn't taken over yet. So they had a perfect car in the Magnum, and then they just totally gave up on it. And please do not cite sales figures to me. The fact is, they gave up on the Magnum long before they could have given it any type of upgrades. They never gave it the 8-speed. They never gave it the Apache engine. The Apache engine is the 6.4 liter. They never gave it the 6.2 Hellcat. First of all, if you've got a vehicle like that can carry that much stuff in the back and is as fast as a Hellcat, oh yeah, it would sell. And you could say it wouldn't sell, but first of all, the price point on that thing would be way less than the Jeep Trackhawk, which is poorly designed, in my opinion, and poorly priced. That's the reason why they sit on lots. One of my watchers asked me to do another Count the Trackhawk video, so I think I'll probably do that this weekend, maybe. But see, the thing about it, that Mopar had they had the Magnum, they had the 300, they had the Charger, they had the Challenger. Here you've got 4 perfectly sized cars. All you got to do, improve the interior quality, make the interior design better, and you've got engines that people are willing to pay for. Because no matter how many people want to talk about, it's a boat and it doesn't turn, the mere fact is the Demon just walked and gap-tized a McLaren 720S. And if you could do that with a car that costs less than $90,000 before you add the crate and all that, if you can walk a $300,000 car by just changing to some drag radials that are 15 inches, I mean, nobody else offers you that kind of power. And even Doug DeMuro said it himself. Doug DeMuro said, it doesn't matter. You could put that car up against the Bugatti Veyron. The Demon is still faster to the quarter mile. You could put it up against the Ferrari, LaFerrari, and all that stuff. The Demon is still faster to the quarter mile. You put it up against the McLaren 720, and last week we saw how that shit went down, so need I not mention that. But my thing is, if they had this engine, the Magnum, the 300, the Charger, the Challenger, you'd have 4 cars that would be like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Now, I want you to think about how upset right now these Ford fanboys and these Ford guys are who are at the company at Ford. I want you to think about how upset they are seeing something like this come out. Because you already know Ford ain't offering this. You already know. Now, you know Mustang, yeah, you can get the Mustang. You can have it built. You can build race cars and stuff out of Mustangs. But the thing about it is Chrysler's doing this with a 4-door sedan. The Charger, a 4-door sedan. And if they have this if they ever do offer this in the Charger, because right now they're saying that this is only a kit engine, you build it yourself, and then you're responsible to build a transmission that can actually handle it. That's another one of my problems, because the TorqueFlite transmission can't really handle this engine. Not only that, you'd have to change the drivetrain, you'd have to change the half shafts. The only thing that I've seen that can handle that, the only thing that I've seen thus far that can handle that kind of power is the new carbon fiber drive shafts. So you're talking about having to custom build now, if you did this shit yourself, you're talking about like one of these carbon fiber drive shafts right here. And if you were to do this yourself, you would have to not only build, you'd have to have a drive shaft capable of running that kind of power. Now, mind you, these drive shafts, these carbon fiber drive shafts, these things are capable of handling up to 1,500 horsepower, 1,000 pound-feet of torque if you have them built to that spec. The problem is I want the company itself to do that. Because, you know, it's so funny. When people bought their Hellcats, when they first got their Hellcats, they thought that all they had to do was take their Hellcat to the drag strip and that all they had to do was just throw on some drag radials. What they didn't realize, the physics behind these engines, is transferring that kind of power to the wheels basically was causing all of their drive shafts. Let's see, bent drive shaft. It was causing their drive shafts to snap. So when you buy a Hellcat, it's not as simple. Yeah, this is what was happening. They were getting their drive shafts twisted the fuck up when they were putting drag radials on their Hellcats, and they really thought that they should be able to handle this kind of power. The problem is their drive shafts, just like this one right here, their drive shafts were twisting up and bending because the problem is those drag tires aren't simply able to just transfer that torque from the engine all the way to the ground. The problem is those wheels themselves create their own level of turning resistance, and it was basically doing this to their drive shafts, snapping their drive shafts. So the Demon, when they did the Demon had its own thicker aluminum drive shaft. So the Demon drive shaft, if you remember this was the Demon drive shaft right here. And the Demon drive shaft was designed specifically by the company to run drag radials. So now this is what I'm saying. I don't like modifying cars. I want the company to modify the car, and then I want to simply just be able to go and buy the car or lease the car or whatever. But when Dodge put this shit together as a whole package, they had to figure out everything. I don't want to have to figure this stuff out. I don't want to. I don't want to end up in a situation where you build a car and then all of a sudden parts start breaking and now you have a problem. Nobody makes parts that can fit these applications. And now that you're talking about a crate engine that produces 1,000 horsepower, 950 pound-feet of torque, well, the problem now becomes, what transmission are you going to get? So, like the Demon, for instance, has pretty much the Demon transmission. The Demon has the most powerful transmission that FCA has right now. All of these things are made of thicker aluminum. And my thing is, it's like these race cars, now they're using these carbon fiber parts in as many places as they can in order to save weight. So my thing is, why would I want to buy a crate engine when if you just wait a little while, the company itself is going to work out all of these details. They're going to work out the drive shaft. They're going to work out the half shaft. They're going to figure out what tires and wheels that it runs the best with. They're going to figure all that shit out for you, and all you got to do is have a job good enough to just go out and buy one of these cars. People have said, oh, when are you going to supercharge your Jeep? I'm not going to fucking put no supercharger in my Jeep. You want to see me have a daily driver that's always broken? Like, I know people who've blown out their Jeep's engines and destroyed their Jeep's engines by trying to modify these cars. I am not modifying anything. Somebody asked me, oh, how do you have so many viewers and you don't drag race and you don't do mods? It's because, when I just buy a car and like I talk about that car and I do a vlog on that car, whatever it is, people are interested in seeing it. Now, all these people who want to take a chance and spend all their money modifying their cars, more power to you, but that's not me. That's not who I am. The Hellcrate does not currently have a transmission offered that can handle it. So what they said was, and I was listening, you can use whatever manual transmission that, quote unquote, you can get to handle this kind of power. Now, are there transmissions out there that can handle this kind of power? Yeah, I'm sure there are. I'm pretty sure you're still going to have to heavily modify it. I'm pretty sure you're still going to have to build up a lot of this thing yourself. But I'm just not feeling this. I mean, yeah, this is really awesome, the Hellephant, but I want to see Chrysler itself build a transmission that can handle the Hellephant. I want to see Chrysler itself build a drivetrain that can handle the Hellephant. You can't simply take this engine and drop it into a Demon. If you do that, you're going to destroy the parts inside that Demon. I don't want to do any of that. I want to wait, sit back, let Chrysler handle all of this, and then we can decide whether or not this thing is the real deal. But you already know it probably is. Ain't nobody building an engine like this. Ford certainly gave up on this. Ford is sticking with their twin-turbo Ego Boost V6s. They've given up on this type of shit. And then you've got GM. GM gave up on this too because they're so busy marketing to the Chinese that the best that they can do is build these silly little 650 horsepower CTSVs, which, by the way, cost $100,000, or these silly little ZL1s, which, by the way, cost more than a Hellcat when you adapt for the features that are that. First of all, a Hellcat offers you features you can't get in a ZL1. You can't get 4 doors in a ZL1. You can get yourself a Charger Hellcat and get a 4-door car that has that kind of power. You can't get a 4-door sedan Camaro. Your 4-door would have been a CTS-V, which is slower than the Hellcat. The ZL1 is slower than the Hellcat. So the first thing somebody say, oh yeah, well, if we put drag radials on and we do some work to it, we can make it faster than your Hellcat. I'll walk your Hellcat. I was arguing with this loser on Facebook he didn't even have it. He had a Taurus show, but he wants a Lincoln MKS. And I'm up there arguing with this dude, and I'm like, both of those cars are slow. And now they may not be slow compared to other cars them size with shittier engines, but those cars are slow. They both have less than 400 horsepower, and the only thing that you had going for you is the fact that you had all-wheel drive, which by and of itself is not a bad thing. Having all-wheel drive is great because it allows you to get off the line a little bit quicker. Problem is, at higher speeds, all-wheel drive becomes a detriment, and it causes more drag, and it causes, more mass, there's more weight, there's more drag. So when you're dealing with cars like the Bugatti Veyron and you're dealing with these Lamborghinis, even the Lamborghini Aventador is not as fast as the Dodge Demon in a quarter mile. All of these foreign cars, these things are running 10-second quarter miles. The Demon, as Demonology showed us, is capable, with him in it, of a 9.85, and the stock Demon with the Mopar driver under excellent DA conditions is capable of a 9.65. So that allowed them to say that was the quickest car in the world. Even the Bugatti Veyron, the Bugatti Chiron, the Lamborghini Aventador, none of those cars could match it. So, there's no argument there. But I got these dudes telling me, oh yeah, I'm fast on the line. I was like, no, you're not. If you race maybe a 392, you're probably still going to lose. And if you race a Hellcat, you're going to get your ass handed to you so much that you're going to be watching taillights all day. And the thing about it is, Ford has given up on making shit like this. They're not going to do it. And GM has given up too. They're not going to do it. So unless GM tonight decides to announce that they're going to make a 7-liter supercharged CTS-V and a ZL1, and then they do the smart thing and they make a 4-door variant and bring back the Chevy SS, which they're not going to do. Well, guess what? All you're going to see is repeats of what you saw last week. You're going to see more and more FCA SRT vehicles coming and taking over your drag strips. Okay, so we got the McLaren 10S versus the Dodge Demon in gray. One more time. Those Demons are no joke, man.
Well, looks like we're gonna try a rematch here.
Yeah, let's actually both take off at the same goddamn time, please. Come on.
Get that McLaren off the starting line a little bit quicker than it did last time.
The majority of these foreign import supercars, these things aren't doing better in that quarter than 10.5 typically. You try that shit against a Tesla, you're gonna lose.
Stage up, ready to go to Dodge to the right-hand side.
Uh-oh, that Demon jumped. Whoa! Soul snatch! You got gapped! You got gapped, McLaren. How about that gap? 1007, and 1043. You got your ass gapped. You got gapped. That's right. I'm gapping people out here.